Hi, I am Martika Chanel Carruthers, and I welcome you to my presentation, Reducing Workplace Ergonomic Risks. This presentation will consist of an introduction, recommendations, conclusions, an explanation on the ergonomics improvement process, closing comments, and then contact information in case you have questions. So what is ergonomics? It's the study of the relationship between workers and their work environment. So as safety professionals, we're tasked with ensuring that workers are fit to their workstation and that they aren't forced just to work with what they have. Some key risk factors that we're looking at within this presentation are force, repetition, and extreme posture. So why ergonomic risk reduction? Why did I select this topic to research? Well, currently I'm employed for Liberty Mutual Insurance as a risk control consultant. And every 2 years, when we gather enough data, our Research Institute for Safety publishes an article titled Liberty Mutual's Workplace Safety Index. And so the most recent edition or version, rather, is for 2014. And not surprisingly enough, overexertion or ergonomic risk-related injuries account for the top contributing factor to disabling workplace injuries in the workplace across all industries. So this is, right now, overexertion is accounting for $15.1 billion of workers' compensation claims, which is a $1 billion increase from the previous version that came out in 2011. So when we're looking at overexertion and that being the contributing factor, and percentage-wise, it's 25.3% of all injury types for workers' compensation claims. So that's over a quarter of our overall national burden. So that's why, this prompted me to select ergonomic risk reduction for research. Just kind of looking more into, the risk factors behind it and what are some risk mitigation strategies that we can implement in our respective workplaces in order to help combat this issue. So here is an overview of the recommendations that I selected within my research. The first one is the initial or upfront analysis. The second one is ergonomic risk assessment tools, also called ERATs. And lastly, additional mitigation strategies. So either three of these options can assist with reducing the exposure to ergonomic risk-related injuries. This depends on which one best fits the purpose of the analysis that the employer or the organization is conducting and which one best fits the scope. One option to help mitigate risk for ergonomic risk-related injuries is to conduct an initial analysis. The purpose of this is to see if one, task redesign is necessary for any of the job functions of an organization, or two, to see if ergonomic equipment is necessary at those job functions. And so when we're looking at the steps for conducting the analysis, we first want to begin with our foundation, which is the members who are going to go out and conduct the assessments. So we want to refer to these individuals as the ergonomics team. Whenever we're looking at selecting members for an ergonomics team, there are some key qualities that we would like for them to possess. And one important one is ensuring that they have a critical eye for risk identification. We also want to make sure that they have a diverse background in safety. They're able to bring different perspectives to the table whenever the analysis discussions are going on. And also, too, we want to make sure that they have expertise in conducting risk assessments. Next, we want to make sure that we have an all-encompassing list of job functions of the organization. So we don't want to eliminate any job function up front. Rather, we want to assess each job function and then eliminate the possibility of task redesign or installing ergonomic equipment after the fact. We then want to delegate team members to specific operations within the organization. So it would behoove an ergonomics team to strategically place those team members at different operations. So those who are well versed or who have a supervisory position at particular operations should conduct assessments at those operations. To help develop a critical eye for those operations, it's also essential to pair up with other individuals who aren't from that operation. That way we're cross-training and other individuals are getting the opportunity to see what risk exposures and what critical behaviors are observed at different operations. So next we have actually performing the analysis. So this consists of completing the assessments at the operations, and from there determining the existing process risk and task efficiency. So the next step to that is estimate and propose existing solutions that we're able to enhance or to improve task efficiency, which is what every operation wants whenever they're in production. And lastly, we want to compare those solution options to see which one is the most feasible to implement at the time. So this could be based on various factors. So it could be based from financial perspective, how much funds can be allotted for this particular retrofit of the organization or for a particular operation. This could be based on the resources that are available in terms of maybe personnel who are able to head a certain project. So different factors can determine which solution best fits the organization at the time. Another option is to use ergonomic risk assessment tools, or ERATs. So the purpose of using these tools is to compare and analyze the physical demands of the job tasks that the ergonomics team are observing. There are various types. A lot of these you've probably seen before. So it's key that the ergonomics team members understand what each one signifies and what the results are for each one. So, is it a qualitative or quantitative result or a combination of both? What's the application? Is it general industry or is it more specified to maybe an office setting or to handwork, for example? And also, too, we want to make sure that we're selecting the right type based on the body segment that we're observing. So we wouldn't want to select, for example, OSHA screening tool, which is whole body, when we're actually just focusing on the trunk of an employee. So maybe from there, we'd want to use the ACGIH TLV for lifting or the Snook tables. So again, having the right team members is the foundation to be able to make these essential decisions, or these pertinent decisions rather, is key for having valid results. Lastly, we have additional mitigation strategies for reducing ergonomic risk-related injuries. The purpose of this recommendation or this option is to build on the personal values of employees. So this is essential whenever you have a workforce. You want to make sure that there's a connection between management and the workforce. Does the workforce know that management cares about them? So here are some strategies to help ensure that. And if it's not present already within an organization, this will help to build that connection and to instill that within the workforce. The first strategy is fix the person. So this speaks to medical management. So at this point, an injury has already occurred. So what the purpose of this strategy is to minimize any further loss of that from that injury. So this is just ensuring that the injured employee receives the best care after the injury occurs and that they have focused treatment. That's the key behind this strategy. Next, we have fitting the person to the task. This consists of conducting an ergonomic evaluation for any employee that is new to a particular workstation. So even if it's not a new employee, if it's an employee that's transferred to another operation or to another workstation, we want to make sure that, again, they're receiving an ergonomic evaluation. Because, again, as safety professionals, we want to make sure that all employees are personally fitted to their work area. Next, we have changing the person. This strategy deals with improving a person's health and wellness. So are they fit? Are they personally fit? Are they being healthy inside at work or outside of work? So helping them to understand the benefits and consequences to a healthy lifestyle and what it means to actually be healthy. So a key to this is providing the right resources, getting them in contact with the occupational health nurse of the organization will also help to enhance this option and ensure that it's effectively applied. Changing how the person performs work is another strategy for this recommendation or option. So this deals with ensuring that an employee is safely performing their work task. So this includes using the proper body mechanics, using the proper safe work methods that were taught to them when they learn the job. And so some ways to ensure that they are performing this is just to get out and actually do observations. So supervisors or management personnel should be conducting observations on a daily basis. And so in addition to the observations, a feedback discussion needs to occur between the supervisor and also the employee. So the discussions should consist of the work methods that were observed, the critical behaviors. So whether that was bending at the knees, pivoting and not twisting, those are the types of work methods you want to discuss with the employee. And from that, what they were doing, safe or at risk. So it's up to the supervisor to determine what talking points they want to address. So if it is at-risk behaviors, what are the benefits or consequences to that? Having an open dialogue with the employee to see if they understand the benefits and consequences and even understand, too, what the safe work methods are for that particular job task. So all these things will help to change how a person performs work. Again, that observation piece is key, as well as the communication, the actual delivery of the message. And lastly, we have changed the work and workplace. So upon doing research, there was a term or a phrase rather, it's called occupational ergonomics. So this strives to collectively fit the workplace to the work, or collectively fit the workforce rather to the workplace. And so one way to achieve that is to require that the workplace fits workers from the 5th percentile of women to the 95th percentile of men. So again, if this is completed, that goal of having a collective workforce that's fitted to the workplace will be achieved. In conclusion, the best option would be to conduct an upfront analysis following the steps that were previously outlined. In addition to that, also incorporating an ERAT to ensure that the physical demands of job tasks are appropriately analyzed. And then lastly, we talked about also ensuring that we are getting that open dialogue and discussion between management or supervisors and employees. So ensuring that employee interviews are taking place throughout this assessment as well. So inquiring from them, what is it about your job that makes it comfortable? What would you change if you had to change anything? How could your workstation be safer? Do you have any ideas to help enhance your work area? So just asking them questions, because they are the expert. The operator is always the expert of the operation. So they would know, how to enhance their work area if they had the opportunity, if they were given the funds to do so. So asking those questions and actually bringing those back to the feedback and solutions idea discussion during the toward the end of the analysis review. In closing, I also wanted to touch on the hierarchy of ergonomic controls and ensuring that this is also considered and analyzed whenever the ergonomics team is determining which type of control is best fit for the organization at the time. It's the same hierarchy that's introduced for implementing controls of any sort. So beginning with avoidance all the way down to PPE. So just ensuring that the ergonomics team again has that background, that competency level of knowing when it's appropriate to implement a particular control method. And lastly, ensuring that ergonomics is continuously managed. So even after the upfront analysis is conducted or the other options are conducted based on what the employer prefers, it's also key to continue to manage ergonomics. So as we know, whatever the term may be, musculoskeletal disorder, manual handling related injury, cumulative trauma disorder, soft tissues altogether, soft tissue injuries are the leading cause of loss across all industries. Liberty Mutual's data proves this year after year. It doesn't change. Actually, as we saw, the cost that attributes to workers' compensation claims for overexertion injuries are continuing to rise year after year. So, just ensuring that we're continuously managing this will help to reduce the cost of claims for overexertion and for ergonomic risk-related injuries altogether. So one way to continuously manage ergonomics is to actually integrate this analysis that we're already doing, so this ergonomics improvement process, into the organization safety and health program. So keep your ergonomics team, still have them as part of the safety committee, and lean on them to teach others, to kind of train the trainer, have that concept incorporated as well, so that everyone is developing that critical eye for safety and has ownership of the risk in their work area. So then they're not only responsible for their own health, but also too for the health and safety of their coworkers and colleagues. There was a lot of content reviewed during this presentation. Our main focus was risk reduction for workplace ergonomics. So if you have any questions or you want to discuss anything further on the side, feel free to contact me. I have my home contact information as well as my work cell. Or if you choose to communicate electronically, that works as well. I have my personal email, which is listed first, followed by my work email. So feel free to contact me. I would love to further discuss any of the concepts or statements that I've made with you. Again, ergonomics is something that that I have a personal connection with, just with working with my accounts under Liberty Mutual. So feel free to contact me for any reason. Thank you.